I'm just gonna start talking.
Yep.
So, uh, as we have seen, as I mentioned, wait, did I mention this? I'm not sure. They have an Owlhead Mount Breaker, which is one of the newest inclusions into the latest expedition. It just came into expedition following balance changes, and it's fantastic for this deck. It makes your big, already massive things into bigger things, and of course, it's a 6/6, which is exactly where you want things to be for the Sling deck. One thing I noted with YurickYu's list is they don't have a Quartet Max, which is the uh, time to drop 1/1 deadly, but boosts gives you 2 maximum power if you have a relic in play. In most cases, that would be the Sling. And then they are also only on 2 of Monolith Guardian, which has at least from the latter builds I've seen, worked pretty well with Sling. Because you play the Sling on turn 3, you get the Monolith Guardian on turn 4, it immediately triggers your Sling and draws your card. And being a multi faction unit is very difficult for a lot of decks, especially Xenon based decks to deal with. Now, I really like the play from YurickYu here, making sure that you have the uh, time influence for that turn 3 Sling into a turn 4 Torgov. I would just like it noted that I never, ever get to draw a turn 3 Sling, so I am very, very jealous right now.
Absolutely,
But
and Bottled actually had the rare turn 2 Wump with the symbol into dual land, into dual power, but unfortunately with the Huntress out there that YurickYu had, went with the Vicious Overgrowth instead. Turns out when your opponent already has a Huntress on board, you don't really want to play out your turn 2 Wump there. So Bottled have to take it slow here. They had to use that Vicious Overgrowth. And now they're going to play that Wump, but YurickYu does have that active Sling now.
yes, he does have. Sorry, they do have the active Sling, but unfortunately, this is where I'm a little bit interested to see their inclusion of Torgov Ice Capture. Because while Torgov can get a buff essentially down the line, becoming a 7/8 if you're well, you can read the text on Torgov. But um you could yeah, so on just on face value, Torgov is merely a 4/5, which will trigger neither
Right.
side of the sling, which is kind of interesting because it's not really an ideal turn for play. Ideally, you want to just curve perfectly turn 3 sling into something that will trigger it on turn. Okay, a Giral here. Oh, but
Bottledjinn's going to
okay.
drop a Giral. They do have Polymorph, Vicious Overgrowth, and Vengeful Flight in hand.
Ooh,
But
okay. Yep,
here comes
snapping
an
up with those
8/8. So that Sling's going to
hands.
take care of the Wump with this 8/8. Thunderous, Thunderous and Snooze, 8/8, Killer Regen, Summon, Stun It. Pretty
Okay.
powerful with a Sling,
Did we
though.
just is snooze is the bear, right? I think us as a
That's a good
community
question.
has
I,
decided
I I
snooze is the
think
bear.
Snooze is the bear, although I could also see Thunderous being the bear too. That would be pretty funny if the human was the Snooze. I'd like that, but I assume that Snooze is the bear.
Indeed.
All right.
Shout out to IP Long No for previewing this card because I remember. But it's a fantastic card, and I'm surprised honestly that doesn't see more
Yeah,
play
I
in
was
this
gonna say
type
I
of
have
deck.
not seen this card very much, but it looks very good. So active Giral now. That's gonna be pretty nice. Not all that's going to it only has the 6 primal influence, missed on both spells, but the vengeful flight's gonna give you 2 flying Girals. Unfortunately, one of them's gonna go down with the Owlhead here, but you still got the active one. It's gonna be a long cry to have one of these Girals do enough damage to YurickYu. But it's possible. These Girals, once you get up to 8, these Girals start doing massive amounts of damage.
Yurikyu
Thankfully
is
for
already down
YurickYu,
to
thankfully for YurickYu,
12.
Battle Jin's down to 1 copy of that Giral and not 2. 2 hits you for even more damage, but 1 is
Yep.
something you can deal
Very fortunate that they were able to draw the all head there just to make sure that. Ooh,
with.
oh no, the vengeful flight missing there.
Yeah, that's
Here,
awkward. Drawing the Vengeful Flight with Destiny, but unfortunately your only unit being your Giral. Oh, and you had a yeah, that's tough.
here, I guess they permafrost and snooze. Yep,
Yep.
either
Yeah.
that or have gone for the polymorph, just so that they can't clock. your draw with a killer attack.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had
Right.
to deal with that 8/8 for sure. Oh, and look at that.
Oh, ooh, but no, unfortunately, no undepleted power
Yeah, not
here for
enough
YurickYu.
undepleted
He
power to
won't be able
cast
to
it,
avoid
but
that
that
Crimson
is
Snares here.
huge off the top.
Right. And unfortunately, as we mentioned previously in the Theo versus Camel Milk Mirror, the Correlation deck, while is a very good deck. Oh no!
Mm.
And very adept at dealing with many things. Unfortunately, really struggles with relics. And as
Yep.
you can see here, YurickYu's sling is absolutely just running away with value drawing a card every turn.
Yeah, we had mentioned the polymorph there. I believe the polymorph was shut off from the sling as well, right? Can't transform cards.
Oh
So
yes, sometimes for
not
cards. I'm so
only
sorry.
not only
Yeah,
does
I need to read the cards. Yeah.
Not only does Elysian have trouble with relics and huge units, it also can't transform things. So it actually kind of hits all the things that the Elysian deck is pretty good at. And taking out that Giral, and then unfortunately Bottlejinn flipping that other Giral off the top and missing it. Oof. Now things are all in YurickYu's camp here with that 16/16, Mavloff Huntress off the top. But things
It's
are looking
just
pretty good for YurickYu here.
oh yep, absolutely.
And that's just going to go ahead and take out the blocker. And now Bottlejinn is basically down to nothing with a board full of threats. Not to mention more in hand for YurickYu. Yeah, this seems like a tough matchup for the Elysian deck. The Elysian deck is very good, and I think it's one of the better decks in the format, but this seems like a really terrible matchup for it.
Dude. I mean, like, what? As long as Sling can get their engine started, it's very difficult to disrupt because of the way that it's phrased. Essentially, you get a card at the end of your. So if you're able to deploy the unit, you're always going to be able to get a card's worth of value.
Now, if Bottlejinn's deck is able to get a turn 2 Wump or 2 Wumps down and flip them, on turn 2 or 3, then that becomes a little tougher for YurickYu to deal with. Then it's going to be hard to kill those Wumps. They're going to be doing a ton of damage. But unless you have that really fast start from the Elysian deck, I think it's going to be tough to keep up with what the Sling deck is doing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right.
And YurickYu is going to take game number 1 here.
Both players hunting for that 3-0, which I think, given the tournament structure and how many people have dropped, probably means that if you get 3-0, you have the best breakers, even if you go into the last round with a loss,
Yep.
because 3-1 is probably still good enough.
Yeah, usually the players that start 3-0 make top 4. It's not guaranteed. Your tiebreaker is depending on how you matched up in the first couple rounds, but because you are guaranteed to play the other 3-0 player, it's normally the situation that if you start 3-0, even if you lose the last match, your 3-1 tiebreakers are usually pretty good. So both these players with this critical game here, the winner of this has got to be sitting pretty happy for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I would have shipped that to power with Malta 6 for YurickYu here and no second primal. So if bottledjinn can get some bombs or Durals down before YurickYu can cast anything out of their hand, they might be in a pretty good spot here.
All right, and Bottlejinn's looking at a hand of 3 power, a Gin of Merchant, a Vicious Overgrowth, a Wisdom, and a Speaking Circle. Seems like an easy keep to me. Make sure they're not waiting on me here. Not the fastest hand in the world, so maybe it's not an easy keep, but it's got a lot of things going on. Yeah, Bottlejinn's going to go ahead and keep that. That's a little awkward in this matchup, though, because I see this hand with Merchant, Overgrowth, Wisdom, Speaking Circle, all the power, all the influence, and it seems like a snap keep, but then you think about the way the match plays out, and you got to think, well, is it? I mean, if you're not putting early pressure, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's a slow hand, I'll say.
Indeed.
Bottlejinn's gonna deploy those 2 depleted power to start off. They're already up to 4 influence on turn 2, but nothing deployed yet. They do have a Speaking Circle now. I'm not sure how Speaking Circle matches up in this matchup per se, but obviously it's a very powerful card overall.
YurickYu has managed to find their second primal, so they will be able to deploy probably the Torgoth on their next turn, unless Bottledjinn whips out Wump right now. I think actually waiting for when you have more the 6 primal to deploy your rolls in this matchup so that they don't get eaten up by the pyrotech explosions out of YurickYu is very intelligent indeed. Probably a permafrost, but I'm not entirely sure. They haven't deployed a unit yet, but permafrost, especially since that YurickYu doesn't have a sling yet, so they can't get passive, draws off of their sling.
Right. Bottledjinn's got a lot going on in hand. You know, they've got the Wisdom, the Speaking Circle, and then they've drawn Huntress, Imitator, and Wump and Mizo. So, got lots of options here.
Oh, they went for the imitator. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Imitator probably going for Gerald. Oh, Wump and Miso here. Okay. All the wrong reads. Oh, there's a sling. So that you can
So just a
sling
heads up, Chad. I'm
Yuki.
gonna go ahead and turn off hand cam here, so I can still tell you what everyone's got. But for the remainder, for a little while, I'm gonna shut off hand cam just so you know. So if wondering where that is, so bear with me. All right. Well, there's the sling for YurickYu, so it's got to feel pretty good about that.
And the very fortunate draw of power off the Wisdom of the Elders, making sure that they have enough power to deploy the Thunderous and Snooze should they want to.
Yep.
I would be. I play very greedily and never get punished for it. So in this position, I might uh play the sling first, just so I can get max value out of my Thunderous and Snooze. But I'm not sure what a good player like YurickYu.
All right, here comes that Wump for Bottledjinn.
So more undepleted power,
Yeah, it's a
unfortunately.
little awkward here. You can deploy the sling, but then you can't do anything else. That's still probably the best play, but it's a little awkward that undepleted power. Okay, there you go.
Perfect.
That's actually a perfect blind draw off of Torgov there. Now you're able to deploy the sling and get those, and because it was a sigil, you're actually able to deploy one of the duels as well. So nice draw there for YurickYu off Torgov. I'm gonna be able to fire off a wisdom end of turn. Now Bottledjinn has a dazzle. Is there any? I assume they're just gonna go for the speaking circle here. And I don't think you hold up dazzle.
Yeah.
I think you just gotta go.
I don't think you hold up for the wisdom.
If you didn't have speaking circle and you had 2 power open at the end of turn, would you consider dazzling the wisdom?
Probably not, because now that they already have the sling on board, the wisdom matters a lot less because you already get so much passive card advantage from your
Yeah.
big fatties essentially sticking around. And since as you pointed out, and as people looking at the tournament chat in on the DWD Discord will figure out, most of the Elysian decks are packing some kind of transform removal. So we're looking at fluctuate reality, polymorph, or reshape here. And yeah, they're really, really awkward against. Okay, so he does go for the dazzle on the wisdom.
Okay.
Which is okay. Yeah, but because they don't have a lot of good ways to deal with big units, as long as you can stick a big unit, then they'll just provide a lot of passive card advantage through the sling.
Very interesting of
Because
Bottledjinn not to go for the speaking circle there. They had undepleted power, but instead went Silex to draw a treasure trove with a dazzle up into Wump. Okay. Thank you, Alex Ajax Gaming, so much for the raid. Really appreciate it. Welcome everybody from Alex's stream. I know you see this in 5 minutes, but welcome everybody. We're on a 5-minute delay, and we're in round 3 of this tournament here.
come Raiders. Okay, so that's going to be a double transformed Wump here. Unfortunately, we've got a Thunderous and Snooze here to pick off one of the Wumps. But I guess fortunately, the Permafrost out of YurickYu doesn't really deal with the transformed party pair. Ooh, but another big threat from YurickYu in the Monolith Guardian. Hope might be able to pluck off that party pair the next turn. Yep.
Yeah, that double
Bottle Jin in
transform
a
Wump is nice. But as you said, YurickYu has answers for that. I don't want to say it was too late. I mean, you had to do what you had to do, and getting those out and flipping those at this point in the game is good. But unfortunately for bottledjinn, YurickYu has the active sling now and is just going to be able to pick those off fairly easily. They can still do some damage, but as long as YurickYu can start their turn and get rid of this Wump, then it's not as big of a threat. You take a couple hits and be fine.
Speaking Circle. Do we have anything?
Thank you, Alex Aegis Gaming, for the follow. All right, the most exciting time of these games. We've got the Speaking Circle. Let's see what it flips. Let's see if there's anything that can flip.
Here you
to
roll.
keep bottledjinn here.
Oh man.
Tough choice on this first one. All right, we've got play 2/1/1 cultists. That's not gonna do a ton here.
Not. Yeah.
Need a kill a relic is what we need here.
Kill a relic, or perhaps like from Anguish.
Hey, there we go.
or-
Disrupt, kill an enemy relic. Okay, we gotta
Alright.
start. Disrupt is a great draw off of that. YurickYu, no way to stop it. So, assuming bottledjinn doesn't get anything better, that sling's gonna die right here. So that's nice. And then a vicious overgrowth's pretty good too. All right, disrupt was the perfect draw. That's a great hit off the Speaking Circle. Take care of that sling, and now that makes your Wump actually a little better too. Fortunately, YurickYu still has these two huge units, but now bottledjinn unfortunately can't really protect the Speaking Circle here. All right, got this Mavloft Huntress in hand.
I wonder if YurickYu just plays the Method of Tundras pre-combat to pluck off the party. Oh, doesn't go for it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
tapped out.
too. I wonder. You draw first, I guess. See what else they got. Ooh, deal 2 damage.
Sure.
Deal 2 damage to the enemy player, but bottledjinn's at 1 or 3, so that would still leave them at 1. Yeah, I think you've got a Huntress here to take care of the Wump. Also, YurickYu, I think it was probably the right play, not take out the Speaking Circle there, but you are leaving another chapter on Speaking Circle going off when you had the opportunity to kill it. But I think trying to put bottledjinn dead is a better plan. And here you see it. There's a Pyrotech Explosion. So YurickYu's got enough burn in hand to end this game next turn. Can bottledjinn do anything to survive a turn? Got a Huntress, a Vicious Overgrowth, and a Polymorph. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
I
mean, even if
you
you have a Dazzle for the Pyrotech Explosion, I guess you can put in 2 blockers, 2 jump blockers, and
make 2
maybe
jump
try and-
blockers, but that doesn't save your face, unfortunately.
Indeed. Oh man.
All right, gonna look for the outs. Gonna start with the 2 cultists, but fortunately not. I mean, Huntress can toss away this Seed of Wisdom to try to get another draw, but I'm not even sure exactly what you're hoping to draw off that. Does bottledjinn have a way? I guess you could draw a Dazzle, so that's probably your best hit. Make a couple jump blockers, toss away your power, blind draw a Dazzle. It's the start. Let's see if they do it. And it's just another Seed of Wisdom. So unfortunately, I don't think bottledjinn's got anything else they can do here. Of course, they don't know that YurickYu's got the burn in the face, but go ahead and transform the Snooze down to a 1/1. But I assume YurickYu just goes now. No power left, all tapped out for bottledjinn, so YurickYu can just go face safely. And there they go. Not gonna play with their food this time.
Hesitate.
YurickYu is gonna just end it. And congrats, YurickYu, taking that 2-0 fairly easily. A little bit of a scare that time, but they were able to handle that one